Hi everyone, I'm Sophie and welcome to my channel, Sophie's Hamsters, where I make hamster videos. This video is the third episode of my How to Care for a Hamster series, and today I'll be talking all about what hamsters need to eat. First, I'm going to be talking about the basic food mix to feed your hamster. So your hamster's food mix should be a seed mix with a variety of different things. Many have seeds, nuts, pellets, and little pieces of fruits and vegetables. Mine have these, which are made of fruit and vegetables. The food mix you choose should have around 12 to 24% protein and 3 to 6% fat. You can find this information on the back of the box. If you're having trouble finding a mix with exactly these things, which you probably will, you can always mix in some other things or mix two food mixes together. My food mix doesn't have quite enough protein, so I usually feed my hamsters some mealworms to make up for that. I give them a couple every day or two, but you can even mix these into the food mix if you want to. For non-mealworm protein options, unseasoned chicken or beef, or scrambled or hard-boiled eggs in small amounts a couple times a week work well. You probably won't need to give your hamster any more fat, but if you do, a treat or a piece of fruit will take care of that. I thought I'd just show you the food mix I use. Oh, also, if your hamster needs more carbohydrates, a small amount of cooked pasta or rice a couple times a week will be good for that. You can give them more fiber using fruits and vegetables, which I'll talk about later in the video. If your hamster seems weak or unable to run or climb like they usually do, you might need to give them more protein. If they seem tired and lacking energy, they might need more carbohydrates. If they seem really thin or just not as fat as usual, they might need more fat. And if your hamster seems to be having issues with digestion, you may need to provide them with more fiber, but keep in mind that all of these symptoms might be related to other problems and likely are. I usually feed my hamster 1 tablespoon of his food mix a day, but some people feed larger amounts every couple days. It depends on you and your routine. I'm just going to show some examples of like a hamster weekly feeding chart that I made, just to give you some ideas of different routines that some people do. So I'd recommend that you feed your hamster at least so that it averages out to 1 tablespoon a day, so like 2 tablespoons every 2 days. I also wouldn't feed them less often than every 3rd day. I'd suggest either every day or every other day, whatever you decide, but make sure you keep the routine the same. If you notice a lot of food left in the dish or around the cage, you could maybe feed your hamster a little less food or not quite as often. If your hamster is quickly eating all their food, you might need to feed them a little bit more or a little bit more often. Just keep in mind that your hamster may just be shoving in their cheek pouches and not actually eating the food, so you have to watch for that. Some people also like to leave a day for their hamster to just eat leftover food that they stored up, which I think is a good idea. You could also alternate days, so like for example, if you feed them the food mix one day, then feed veggies the next day, or some protein and then feed food mix again, that type of thing. Now we'll talk about fruit. You don't want to give your hamster fruit too often because it's more like a treat and has more fat and sugar. I'd suggest a small amount, about 2 to 3 times a week at the most, or just give it to them on special occasions. I usually don't give my hamster fresh fruit because a lot of my treats are made with fruit and my food mix has fruit in it, so this way my hamsters still get fruit, but I don't have to worry about fresh fruit rotting or getting moldy. Dried fruit is a great alternative if you're worried about these things happening, and be sure to pick out any fresh fruit that your hamster doesn't eat in one day so that it doesn't get moldy or rot. Examples of fruit that your hamster can eat are apples, as long as they're seedless, and I usually don't feed them the peels either. Bananas, blueberries, and strawberries. Now I'll talk about vegetables. Vegetables are great for your hamster, and I'd suggest feeding them to your hamsters every day or two. The important thing to remember is to start with small amounts so that your hamster can get used to them. Otherwise, it could upset their stomachs. Introducing just 1 or 2 at a time is best, starting with a small amount of each one and increasing a little bit at a time. Once your hamster is used to the vegetables, you can give them larger amounts and even mix different ones. Just don't feed them more than they can eat in a day, and try to pick out old veggies after a day. Otherwise, they'll just get dried out and moldy, and it won't be good for your hamster to eat. There are some dried veggie options out there that you can choose, but I just suggest giving them fresh ones and picking them out after a day, because the hamsters definitely like fresh ones better. Examples of vegetables that are easy to get for your hamster are carrots, spinach, broccoli, and cucumbers. Keep in mind that there are loads more fruits, veggies, and other foods that you can give to your hamster. I only listed a few in this video. Just make sure a food is safe before you give it to your pet. That's all for today. I'll leave links in the description for the websites I used to get the information I needed. They have more information about these things, so check them out if you want to learn more. Ask me if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer. I hope this video was helpful. See you next time. Bye.